Rwanda can't meet their needs, but the UK can. It just seems more opaque as the session seems to be going on, and the costs are quite eye-watering to date, with nobody having gone to Rwanda.
If you don't know who that is, that's Labour MP Paula for Liverpool Wavertree, asking the witnesses for the Home Office a question I've been desperate for somebody to ask about this embarrassing Rwanda bill, and then hits them with what I would possibly call a bit of a zinger.
We may actually take some refugees from Rwanda, and the costs are not measured there. So what associated costs have you predicted, and what assessments and modelling have actually been made?
So in relation to the first part of the question, the treaty that the two governments signed after the Supreme Court decision is related to the Safety of Rwanda bill, which is going through the House at the moment, which is why we talk about royal assent of the bill and ratification of the treaty sort of in the same breath. Those are the two things that need to happen in order for the main Rwanda partnership to be operationalised. You're right that in the original Memorandum of Understanding there was also the possibility of refugees from other countries who are currently in Rwanda to come to the UK. I don't think that we have set out the sorts of numbers that we're expecting that part of the partnership to add up to.
You don't know numbers, but it does actually state in the NAA report that the UK will resettle a proportion of Rwanda's most vulnerable refugees. What do you understand by the most vulnerable refugees?
Mr. Osborne, want to say a bit more about this?
Yes, so when we were negotiating the treaty, there was a discussion that, as you know, Rwanda hosts a large number of refugees from the wider region, particularly from Burundi and DRC, and there was an agreement that we may take a small number of those where Rwanda isn't able to provide for their specific needs. It was always envisaged that would be a low number. There was no specific number associated with it. The presumption is that they would be relocated on the same terms as our resettlement, a UK resettlement agreement, where we pay a tariff to local authorities as part of our wider UK resettlement scheme.
Sorry, Rwanda can't meet their needs, but the UK can.
It may be because there's specific medical needs, as is provided for under the Illegal Migration Act and under our inadmissibility rules. It may not be suitable for certain persons, for a variety of reasons, to be relocated to Rwanda. There may be, as we've had under our resettlement schemes, where there are people with particular vulnerabilities, where resettlement to the UK may be an important part of their long-term solution for protection. And that was the discussion on the agreement. As I say, we always thought that would be a small number of people. There have been no requests from Rwanda for us to resettle any individuals at this time.
So if we just concentrate on what you've just said, Mr. Hobbs, and take as an example medical conditions, what assessments has the department made on potential costs to the health service, for example, and cross-departmental costs?
That, under our UK resettlement scheme, as we did under Syria, we took the most vulnerable people. We have clear costs. There was an NAO report on the Syrian resettlement scheme, and we pay a tariff to local authorities that covers primary care and any other needs. So that is, if we include them under the UK resettlement scheme, there is a tariff that is paid per person for individuals. And as the Permanent Secretary set out, the government set out its intention around expanding and looking at options around safe and legal routes, and there's a report subject to the consultation with local authorities on capacity that is due later this year. So that work is already undertaken as part of our wider resettlement policy and approach that has been long-standing since the Syrian scheme was established.
One of the additional costs may include costs for training and development of Rwandan officials. And to go back to Mr. Lawton's earlier point around MICE and training representatives of MICE there, why are we paying for Rwandan officials to be trained? If we're entering a partnership with a third party, a third country, why are their officials not already trained?
I think I draw a distinction between the partnership between two sovereign governments, the UK and Rwanda on the one hand, and the commercial arrangement between the Home Office and, say, MIT on the other. The partnership between two sovereign countries is a partnership. It's something where both parties winningly come together because there are benefits for each of us. There are clear benefits for the UK. If there is a deterrent effect, there are clear benefits for Rwanda. One of the benefits for Rwanda is the investment in Rwanda's capability that the UK is paying in. So, which is why, in addition to the per person costs, there are also UK payments into the Economic Transformation and Integration Fund, which is designed to improve Rwanda's capability. We want Rwanda to succeed. We want Rwanda to be a strong partner, able to be even more effective than it already is in working with countries like the UK on global challenges like irregular migration.
Just the final question from me, Chair, is, I mean, everything we've heard today, I don't know about colleagues, but for me, it just seems more opaque as the session seems to be going on, and the costs are quite eye-watering to date, with nobody having gone to Rwanda.
I left it there because Paula Barker asked, how do you propose that any additional costs will be reported back to Parliament to allow us to scrutinise it? And all Matthew Rycroft did was just waffle, so I just saved you from the waffle. But yeah, I totally agree. Who and how many of these vulnerable refugees will be arriving here from Rwanda? And also, right now, how much will it put more pressure on the NHS? And all we got was, we'll be just paying an extra tariff to local authorities anyway. On top of this already eye-watering bill for sending how many Home Secretaries to Rwanda? Makes you feel kind of embarrassed to be English on St George's Day, doesn't it? But what do you guys think? Are you happy that your taxpayers' money, your hard-earned taxpayers' money, is paying for this nonsense? Let me know down below and I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.